Sometimes one bad decision can undo years of work, and that might be what's happening with Ship of Heroes right now.
Let's get this over with. The Dimensional Lab just found something fascinating.
Not good. Quarterly earnings are flat and expenses are up. I assume that's why we're all here?
Are you ready to begin? Let's get started. First on the agenda is my proposal to outlaw and fight the Red Sigil. Yes, Ophelia?
Before we get into that, what proof do we have that this organization even exists? I want to hear from you first. I recognize the rest of you.
I wanted to do a quick video here, kind of off script. I know most of my videos are scripted and this one is not, because I wanted to talk about Ship of Heroes. Now, I am a huge supporter of indie games, indie MMORPGs, especially because I think it's the way forward for this genre, even as difficult as this genre is. Ship of Heroes seems to have done everything possible to not be that. And part of that started with the fact that it sold itself as a premium price game while not exactly being a premium price game. This is a superhero game that was in development for a long time and just decided, kind of shocked everyone by launching with a $15 subscription fee as well as a $60 price tag, which is kind of crazy. But it's getting a little bit worse. There's an article from mmorpg.com that I'll link down below, which is where I'm kind of reading over some of the stuff going on there, and it's getting kind of wild. So one of the things that's happening here is that they're being accused, players are being accused of review bombing the game. And this is actually a straight up quote from them saying that this is review bombing. We've been review bombed. During the first week, Ship of Heroes was review bombed. If you want to see a definition of review bombing, Wikipedia offers one. This is a fairly common problem for new games on Steam. It's really not a fairly common problem for new games on Steam unless there are legitimate issues, because Steam requires you to actually purchase the game to leave a review. I'm not saying that review bombing isn't an issue, it certainly is, and it can tank a game. But the passive aggressive start to this does not bode well. Let's see what else they had to say. As a result, we have made a few simple changes. We're responding to the most common concerns listed because good, honest people sometimes have significant doubts about a game, and we want to answer them. We also reset our Steam forums to prioritize discussions among our customers and players. Due to the review bomb trolls swamping the Steam forums with negativity, we suggest that anyone who hasn't purchased and wants to inquire about the game, its features, culture, and path forward, visit SOH forums at shipofheroes.com. These forums are maintained in a troll-free state to the best of our ability. So you might be wondering, what are most of those troll review bombs? Well, they're people that are upset that there's AI voice acting in the game, the price of the game, and just really the overall quality of the game, and feeling it's not worth it. And I don't like to point to player numbers, but there's a correlation here, and this game has a peak player count of 100 players, with currently about 6 players playing the game. For me, one of the big things is the use of AI voice acting. I don't think that's a good way to go about things. I don't think it's good in Ash to Creation. I think it's kind of ass. If you want to use voice acting, use voice actors. That's kind of a non-starter for me with games like this. If you want to take that shortcut, by all means, but at the very least, say so. Say that that's what you're doing. In fact, Steam actually has an option to say what AI-generated content is in your game. Ship of Heroes has not said that they have any AI-generated content in their game. On Steam, at least. But I'm not here to just trash the game. What I want to talk about here is kind of this warning in general that I think other indie devs need to see and hear. If you price your game this way, if you put it out there like saying, our game is a premium product, which is what the pricing does. When you charge $60 as a base price for an MMO and then say a $15 a month subscription, you are saying that you are providing a premium quality game that is the same quality as other games that are also priced that way. Unfortunately, that really doesn't work because the other games have millions and millions of dollars behind them. Final Fantasy XIV, World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2. Those are the type of games you're pricing yourself against. And I think that this game could be a huge lesson for MMOs like this and indie MMOs that may want to consider lowering their price point to get people in to play the game. One of the things that I think is the biggest issue with these indie MMOs is going to be population. You're not going to have enough people to make an MMO feel alive if your price point is too high. A key game that I'm looking at in the future for this, in the very near future, is PAX Day. PAX Day is going to be releasing into 1.0 soon. There are already concerns coming out from people playing the game saying this is not ready for a 1.0 release, and I'm inclined to agree. So I'm a little concerned overall, but that game is also priced at a premium price. It's going to have an optional sub, at least it's not a full-on sub, but maybe this is a watershed moment. Even though this game is small, Ship of Heroes is a tiny game that really wasn't on many people's radars. I covered it like twice, I think, on this channel. I just want to point out the importance of, one, disclosing use of AI if you use AI, and two, more importantly, please consider your product is going to be compared against the things that you price it like. I have books and I sell my books and I sell them for $5.99. I don't sell them for $9.99 or $12.99, which big publishers sell their books for, because I'm not trying to say that I am the same quality as those big publishers. That puts you in an entirely different arena that you have to battle it out, and people are just going to be more critical in general. And all that said, come on, Ship of Heroes, really? Saying you're being review bombed? Come on, that's not gonna work. It's legitimate criticism. It's criticism about the choices that were made. You can look at another indie game studio that took those same criticisms and adjusted. Embers Adrift launched at a higher price point than they probably should have. They took that criticism to heart. They did not blame their players, and instead they actually lowered their price and tried to continue being like a front-facing developer that tries to work hard to please their player base. They worked year over year trying to service their player base and provide them what they want. That's the path forward. Not getting passive aggressive and defensive and saying that all this is fake and they're trolls. No, you released a game, you were kind of warned that the game was overpriced, not just by content creators and news outlets like Massively OP, but your player base. You understood that the price was too high. Everyone was shocked that you were putting it that high. That should have been a big red flag before you went to launch. And you certainly should not be responding to people that are coming up with legitimate criticisms about your price point with something as passive aggressive and rude as "we understand your financial constraints and respect them." Because what's coming across here is the lack of respect for anyone willing to play your game. It makes people question whether there's any point in playing your game if you're this aggressive toward not even just your potential players, but your players. Anyway, that's my unscripted video. It's probably shit, and I apologize. My next video will definitely be scripted, but I wanted to get this one out. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Redbird Flynn, and I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day.